Jessie Q. Santos. Hi, welcome back to another video. So as you would have seen from the title and the thumbnail, today's video is going to be about a random spinner wheel controlling how long I read each day. And for this episode, actually it's the first time I'm doing this format. I've been wanting to do it for the longest time, but I never had the actual time to do it because I think I set my maximum number of hours was 7 and I didn't have 7 hours to read before, but now I do because I'm unemployed. So we're gonna do it, and we're gonna do it with anticipated book releases of 2024. So I already spun for today and I spun 5 hours. So I already spent, the timer is with this phone, but I read for 1 hour, already left 4 hours, and I started reading A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Seft. And I am currently 72 pages in, so it's like not even 1/3 of the book. The other 2 books I have planned for this video to read are Jessie Q. Santos, The Good, the Bad and the Aunties, as well as With a Little Luck by Marissa Meyer. So these 3 books for now. If let's say I somehow finish 3 books in a week, then I will find more anticipated releases. But so far, for this story, it's a fantasy. We're in this world called Everland. Okay, so there is Everland and there is Muckland. In Everland, it's kind of like the rich area, so nobles will attend candlelit balls while the working class have unrest brewing among them. And we follow our main character Niam, who is a renowned dressmaker. Her pieces have magic in them, and so she has garnered quite the reputation, so much so that she is tasked with designing the prince's wardrobe for his royal wedding. And I think it's like a romance between her and the prince who's supposed to be getting married. Okay, based on the vibes that I'm getting so far. So far, I guess it's been interesting to find out about the world, but I wouldn't say that I'm particularly drawn to either the male main character or the female main character. So both are kind of flat for me. But I'm gonna try and continue reading because I need to read anyway, and I'll give you more thoughts when I am further into the book or when I have completed the book. Yeah, pray for me that I don't get 7 hours, because even though I have time for it, I might not have the motivation to do it. Like just now when I was reading this book, I wanted to sleep, okay? It might be a food coma, but yeah, you get the point. Hi. I cannot be bothered to turn on my mic because it's late at night. Oh my god, that rhymed. That kind of rhymed again. Anyway, I have read for 5 hours already. I finished A Fragile Enchantment in, I would say, like 4 hours and 30 minutes maybe. And then I moved on to The Good, the Bad and the Aunties. But I'm gonna pause and leave my reviews till tomorrow when I look more like a human and less dead, and when I have a mic. But I just wanted to come on and spin first, because if you know me, I'm that kind of student where the kind that I need to pack my bag the day before I go to school or I go to work, because if not, I'll spend like my whole night thinking. I'll be very anxious in the morning trying to get ready, but that's besides the point. I wanted to spin because if I got a high number, then at least I can spend my night trying to get that number down a little bit by reading. So I foresee a lot of clips of me looking like this in the middle of the night. It's coming out the spin and then holding my review until the morning, because I just want to be prepared like that. Okay, so let us see together. Let's go. Oh my god, are you fucking kidding me? Oh fuck. I would just like to say that I suffered for the 5 hours today and I read 7 hours tomorrow. Oh my god. Okay, good morning. It is day 2 of the challenge, and as promised, I'm here to give my review of A Fragile Enchantment by Alison Seft. Let's start with trigger warnings as usual. Trigger warnings for classism, alcoholism, chronic illness, sexual content, homophobia, xenophobia, child abuse, war, and death of parents. In the end, I only gave this 2 stars, which is very sad because this is an anticipated release, but I didn't feel anything when I was reading this except for frustration and anger that is not nice. I found the whole book be quite bland. Like there's no flavor until like let's say the last third of the book when the plot finally picked up a little bit. And at that point I was just like, okay, this is only barely making up. That's why I got 2 stars. Okay, everyone's just gonna get 1 star. In this story, I don't know if it's because it's in a historical-ish setting. If you've read or watched Bridgerton, you know that in that series there is this mysterious author who is known as Lady Whistledown, and she writes in the paper gossip that she hears about from the Tan, which is like the town, and then she writes about it in the paper. That's kind of what happens here also. Like there is this character known as Lovelace who also writes in a paper with gossip of the season. It's really like the same character as with the same addressing. They all start with Dear Reader, this season. It really reminds me of Bridgerton, and for that I was like, okay, that's like me. Then there was the romance. I didn't feel the chemistry between the characters at all. I don't know, it's just, even when he gives his reasons as to why he likes her, right? It's like how he's seen her dance in a room when nobody's around, how you put all of yourself into everything you do. Those are only 2 reasons, and then the rest he goes on to say like what she makes him feel. And then I'm just like, okay, like not very convincing for me. All along, right, I thought this was kind of like a young adult. But then there was suddenly like a very steamy scene in the middle of nowhere. Then I was like, oh okay, so actually this is new adult, but this is still marketed as young adult. Then I'm like very confused. I was only interested in like the sewing plotline because our main character, Nayam, she has magic, right? So she sews in enchantments into her pieces that she embroiders and sews that makes people feel certain things, including the wearer as well as the people who look at what the person is wearing. But that was the only interesting thing that I thought about. But then there were more plot points here that I was just like, okay, like not say super interesting. Like they're trying to find out who Lovelace was, and then more political stuff that I was just like, okay, it's not say super interesting, but tolerable, I guess. And then we finally reached an interesting point, okay, so we finally uncovered the mystery of what was lurking underneath, because the main character suspected there was something going on with the kingdom. Like that's why the brother wants to marry off Christopher, also known as Kit. They both were there at the scene. They came to that realization, and then this guy just decided to kiss her. Like, huh? It's like such a random place to do it, and they are both in danger of being discovered at where they were at. And he's just like, okay, I need to pause everything, I need to kiss you. It's like, huh? Not really interesting for me, I would say. That's why I kind of struggled during the 5 hours, because I didn't want to read this, but I pushed through, and at the end, it's like huge spoilers, the royal wedding was called off. And then he proposed to her, and then they just made use of the same wedding materials, and they just got married that day. And I was like, that's a little too fast. Like things are wrapping up too quickly for my liking. I understand that it's the end of the book and it kind of makes sense to do it like that, but as a woman, I wouldn't want my wedding to be one wherein it was based off of another person's wedding, because then it wouldn't even be my own interests, my own preferences of how I want the wedding to look like, you know? It will be based off of the previous person that he was getting married to. But yeah, that's just my opinions and my thoughts. So that's all of my thoughts done. Moving on to today's 7 hours, I am currently at 2 hours 25 minutes, and I am at the last third of The Good, the Bad and the Aunties. So this one, it is the 3rd book in the Auntie series. So this one, it follows Maddie and Nathan. After their very romantic honeymoon, they fly to Jakarta to spend Chinese New Year with Maddie's entire extended family, and it gets very, very festive. And then even more interesting when her second aunt's former courter shows up and tries to rekindle his romance with second aunt, and he comes with a lot of gifts and hampers and red packets and things like that. Afterwards, he discovers that not all the gifts were meant for second aunt, so he accidentally had one of the gifts meant for one of his business partners in the gifts that he gave to second aunt, and so he's trying to get it back because it was meant for a business rival to cement their alliance, and if the business rival doesn't get it, then things are going to turn nasty. So they're trying to help the guy, the former courter, also known as Abi, to get back his gift, and things just continue to go from there. So far, actually, I'm really, not saying really enjoying it, but I'm enjoying it. Like, similar to how I felt when I first read the first book. The aunties, as usual, are very over the top, dramatic. There's also like all the different elements of their culture involved in this. There was a scene where Maddie's mother, who is also the third aunt, was like, oh, you don't need to buy me anything. But then when Maddie was like, okay, I won't buy you anything, then the mother got hut, because in Chinese / I don't know, Indonesian culture as well, it's like the custom to say, oh, you don't need to buy me anything, but then they kind of expect something, you know. And then there's also all the Chinese New Year phrases they use. They also use 汉语拼音 in here, which is like, for example, they say Happy New Year in Chinese, which is 新年快乐, and then all the auspicious phrases like 年年有余, things like that. And even how the aunts were like looking at fake health news videos and then WhatsApping them to the family and being like, if you want to be healthy, avoid sunlight for 100 days, that kind of thing. And it's like so similar to my own culture. And the aunties are also very amusing as usual. One of them called TikTok as Talk Talk, and I was like, girl. So we are in the second half of the story already, where something exciting has happened and they're trying to resolve it. And I think this is the last book in the Auntie series as well, so I'm quite happy and excited to finish this series. Good to stop it at a good point if this ends up being good, like I hope so. So I'll come back and update when I have read more hours or when I finish this book. Hi! Still the same day. I think it's been 3 hours and 15 minutes on the timer, and I have finished The Good, the Bad and the Aunties. Let me give trigger warnings first. Trigger warnings for kidnapping, racism, fatphobia, alcohol, pregnancy, confinement, drug use, death and colonization. I think I kind of said everything I wanted to say in my piece of paper over here, and I haven't had many new thoughts. Overall, I gave this a 3.25 stars because it was interesting and it was intriguing, but I feel like the actual execution of what they were trying to do wasn't as interesting as I hoped for, and the conclusion wasn't as satisfactory as I was hoping for as well, in that essentially they had a rescue mission and they completed the rescue mission, but the reason why there was a kidnapping, it wasn't really resolved. Instead, it was kind of overrode with a different conflict that has been building among Abi and his business partners. And they resolved that conflict, but then they didn't really mention anything about the gift after that, which I was like, but that's the whole point, right? Not as satisfactory as I was hoping for, but it was still entertaining, and it's the last book of the Auntie series. I did enjoy this more than the second book, so I landed on 3.25 stars. Quite a cute conclusion, I would say, with all the characters coming together. You kind of see where their family plans are going, and it's like quite cute, quite imaginable, and I was like wishing them all the best. And yeah, good end to the series. I still think the first book was the best, but yeah. So now I'm going to move on to With a Little Luck by Marissa Meyer, and this is a little thicker. I think it's YA because the font and everything kind of reminds me of YA. And later in the day, I'm going to have dinner outside, and before that I'm going to go to the library to borrow more anticipated releases because I only planned for 3 books. I clearly wasn't expecting to be reading 7 hours on the second day of the challenge, so I have to be prepared and borrow more books. And yeah, I'm gonna return the 2 books that I've finished so far, and I will update you again later. It's me coming back with my updates again. It is currently 12:40 AM, but I'm still counting it as my day 2 because I haven't gone to sleep yet. And I have just reached 7 hours. Oh my god, you can't see, is it too bright? 7 hours and 2 minutes. But yeah, oh my god, actually that went not as terrible as yesterday. I think maybe because the books today were more interesting and because I had to go out. So I had an hour-long train ride there, which kind of helped with the time, and then like a 30 minutes train ride back when I was alone. I'm on page 264 of With a Little Luck, and as always I'll give my thoughts tomorrow when I finish, but I'm almost done and it's time to find out how many hours I'm gonna read for tomorrow. As usual, 1 to 7 because I cannot do anything more than 7, that would kill me. Let's go. Oh my god, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. Oh my fucking god. Are you kidding me? I thought it was gonna be 1. Good morning. Actually, it's afternoon. It is day 3 of the challenge, and today we have 7 hours as mentioned from the previous clips. I am about 3 hours in, and I will share more about the next book later, but first I need to share my review of With a Little Luck by Marissa Meyer. This one is it's actually part of a series which I never knew this was a series because I read Instant Karma a few years ago when it was published and thought it was really good. I gave it 5 stars, and then somehow this came out this year in that series. So we are following the twin brother of the main character in Instant Karma. So His name, he is the twin brother, he is called Jude, and his twin is Prue, who was the main character of Instant Karma. And in this story, we again go back to their world where they have a family business, a vinyl store. It's located on Fortuna Beach, and this family is quite big. Apart from the twins, they also have 3 other younger sisters. So there is Lucy, Penny, and Ellie, the youngest. Jude, who is named after Hey Jude, the famous song, has an interest for drawing, comics, hosting regular Dungeons and Dragons, also known as D&D nights, with his friends, where he's the dungeon master, and he also works at his parents' vinyl record store. Then one day, he somehow finds himself with a lot of very good luck. Everything he has ever wanted is within reach somehow. For example, he looks at his crush's car that's broken down. He knows nothing about cars, by the way. He just somehow turns something over and the engine comes back to life. He helps his friend's song become a finalist in a songwriting competition, things like that. He also managed to win 1 pair of concert tickets to this very coveted concert. And yeah, so he's very lucky. We just follow the story from there, and then he's thinking, is this crush really someone that I really like, or am I more attracted to my best friend? But it cannot be, right, because she's my best friend. So this story, while it took me a little long to get into this story, once I got immersed, I was very engaged throughout the whole story because the plot point was very interesting about how he was very lucky and things like that. And I really love coming back to this world because his sisters are so cute. Like, I love his relationship with all of his sisters and how he's a very good older brother and things like that. His younger sister is about 5 or 6 and still has nightmares sometimes at night. Then she would like to snuggle up with her siblings in bed. So there was once where she came to find him, and it's so cute. Like, oh my god, can you imagine? I've always wanted an older brother, so that kind of just like made me like, oh my god, so cute. His other younger sisters also help him out in other ways in terms of helping him with his crush, things like that. So it's very cute, and how they help out at the family store as well. This is a YA book, but the writing is not cheesy, which I really like, because some YA books are really quite cheesy, and as I'm not in the age range anymore, it doesn't really rub off on me very well, but this one was very good. I also love that there is a mixed media format in this, so let me try and find the pages, because as I mentioned, he likes to host D&D night where he's the dungeon master, and he also draws comics based on what went through in their games. So this is just an example of the comics that he draws, and it's so interesting because it's a mixed media format, right? So it's like very good, because sometimes when I get tired of the pages, then I come across this, then I'm like, yes. And it's also plays very well into the story, which is very smart. Like, oh my goodness, so happy, and not something that is normally done in books that I've read. So yeah. And one last thing that I really liked about this is that Jude breaks the 4th wall a lot of the time. So it's like he's narrating his story to an audience, which is the reader of this book. So he would say like, are you confused? You're confused just like her, right? Let me explain it to you, things like that. And it's like kind of interesting to have a book break the 4th wall, you know? Overall, I gave it 4.5 stars, and I didn't give it a full 5 because I thought that the whole like I'm in love with my best friend, but I just didn't realize it thing is a little bit overdone. But I would have to give kudos to this book because it was done in a way that is still slightly refreshing, and the rest of the book also like made it up so well such that I still enjoyed it and gave it a 4.5. It didn't give me like the very, oh my god, this amazing 5 stars feeling like Instant Karma did, but still a very good book, and still one that I would recommend. Something else that I have to share, right, is that yesterday I went to the library and I forgot to film horizontally. But I have borrowed 4 books because the 3 books that originally planned for this video have all been read in 2 to 3 days. So hopefully these 4 will bite me over. The library was just so pretty, okay? It was the Orchard Central Library, and oh my gosh, it's a very famous curved shelves, and there was a freaking ladder. I guessed twice, okay? First, when I saw that there was a ladder and you can actually climb the ladder to get books, because some of the books are on shelves that are really, really high, and I was like, oh my god, that's my freaking dream. The other time that I guessed was when I saw a book that is quite new, like a new release, okay, and it was in the library. So I'll save that book for last, but I will show you the other books that I got. First is Canadian Boyfriend by Jenny Holiday. Second is The Catch by Amy Leah. Third is The Rom-Comers by Catherine Santer. This book is very dense and heavy. It's spray painted pink edges as well, which I'm like, oh my gosh, never expected the library to get such a beautiful copy in. But yeah. And the last book that I saw and gasped was Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Oh my goodness, I searched for this book on the library app and it wasn't marked as available in that library, so I was very shocked to see it there as a new arrival. So yeah, that was amazing. I am aware that I got all romances, not exactly by choice. The library didn't have the other anticipated releases on my list that were not romances. I mean, romances are kind of easier to get through as well, right? Because I feel like this whole week, I'm gonna get a reading slump halfway through. So yeah, but anyway, I'm going to read these based off of the Goodreads rating from lowest to highest, and the lowest is actually Canadian Boyfriend with a 3.61. So yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but I am this much into the book, page 161, and I have to say that the audiobook is freaking amazing. There's a voice audiobook narrator for the female point of view and a male one for the male point of view, and I really like the female one more than the male one. The way that they structure the audiobook, right, is that, like, for example, there are speech text, right? For example, he said, she said, he lied, whatever, but when the narrators are actually saying it, they don't say the speech text, so they just say it as if they're having a proper conversation, and it's so refreshing. I have never heard an audiobook do that before. And the next thing is, you know, the text notification ringtone, they have it and they play it every time the main characters are texting each other, and I was like, since when do audiobooks have such sound effects? Like, so amazing. Although it did get annoying after a while when there were a lot of text, right? Then they were pinging and pinging, but it served a purpose to let the listener know that it was a message, and I was like, wow, very impressed, okay? The story of this is that when Aurora Evans was 16, working as a barista in the Mall of America, she met a hockey player who was from Canada, and she found him attractive, etc., etc., but nothing happened because they never met again. I think they met each other twice while she was working as a barista, but never after that. But she thought it was a good idea to manifest him as her Canadian boyfriend. So at school, she would have excuses to her friends and be like, oh, I can't go to prom because my boyfriend is in Canada, things like that. And she would also like spend time at lunch writing him letters to make herself feel less lonely. She never thought that he would come back into her life because, I mean, what are the odds, right? But then when she's 29, she is working as a tap dance teacher at a strip mall, I think. Pro hockey player Mike Martin walks in with his daughter, and then she is almost certain that that's the same guy, but she can't quite match up the age because it doesn't really add up as to why he appeared 13 years ago according to his age now. And he has a daughter, and he's also grieving because his wife died in a car crash. So they are navigating this relationship, their friendship, whatever ship is happening, and it's kind of refreshing so far. We are nowhere near the romance yet, okay, but he just finds her like a very bright thing, and he feels like he's good for her daughter because her daughter likes him. He also needs like someone to help fetch her daughter back home after her class, and she was like, sure, why not? He also gets something out of it. Interesting premise so far, and I really like the audiobook. And I like how that they are spending so much time on him grieving. It's been 9 months since the actual crash, but he's still grieving about it as he should. So nothing near the romance yet, but I'm really liking their relationship, whatever they're having like so far. He also has a dog called Earl 9, who is a disabled dog and has wheels at the back of his feet, and he just wheels around everywhere in the house. It's freaking cute to imagine. So yeah, I'm just gonna continue reading this and update again further into the timer or when I finish the timer. Random side note, but my monitor is such a great ring light. Like, look at this even light distribution all up in my face. Hi, I'm back. My timer is currently at 6 hours and 15 minutes, 1-5, and I have finished Canadian Boyfriend. Let's talk. Trigger warnings. Trigger warnings for eating disorder, grief, panic attacks / disorders, death of parents, death, emotional abuse, car accident, pregnancy, and sexual content. I see why it's at 3.6 now. Along the way, there were more things that started to irritate me about this book. Not the best storyline or plot, but let me go into it, okay? For one, there was a certain plot point wherein Mike brought his daughter to her school dance or something like that, and he was on chaperone duty. He's kind of like parent duties wherein he had to help out. When they were there, Olivia realized that she forgot to bring her other shoes that she wanted to change into. So she asked Aurora to come and pass her the shoes. So after that, they end up like dancing at the dance, which I was like, that's so inappropriate and not it. Like, it just rubbed me the wrong way. The idea of it feels very weird. Like, imagine you're Olivia and you see your dad and Aurora just dancing. Like, I mean, it's kind of cute, but to me, it's maybe not at a school dance where things are professional, you know. After that, there was also the issue of the word slaying. Like, I don't know what Jenny Holiday likes about that word so much. You know, the word slay is a Gen Z word, and then you all kind of use it in conversations at times, right? But she used it like in 3 different sentences. So, for example, Aurora doing something was slaying me, and I was like, what? This is not a Gen Z writing. I don't think she's a Gen Z, right? I don't think so. Why would you use that word? It's not even like appealing to use. It's like in this context it feels a bit boomerish, and it was used in 3 different sentences, okay? And the next point, Aurora keeps referring to Mike with his full name. So Mike Martin this, Mike Martin that, Mike Martin whatever. And it got a bit tiring after a while, okay? Like, why don't you just call him Mike? What is your obsession with the full name? My last comment written on my note is that I would have wanted to see Olivia's reaction to the 2 of them being together, because obviously she's still grieving over her mom, right? How did she take the fact that this teacher that she really likes, that kind of lives with them, also acting as a nanny but not really as a nanny, getting together with her dad, replacing her mom technically, how would that affect her basically? And that wasn't shown. 2 more things that I wanted to say, right, is that this premise of the Canadian boyfriend thing, honestly, not the most exciting, not the most intriguing. Like, so you just saw him and then you made him up and then you kind of treated him as a diary entry. She actually had a lot of chances to bring this up and resolve it, and actually I feel like it was more of a deal than it was during the 3rd act conflict when he eventually found out, because it honestly doesn't feel like that big of a deal. And so when he was being upset, I was just like, okay, whatever. I'm not having a good time reading through this scene. I honestly think that whole plot point was not very good and actually could have been done better, or even better, replaced with another plot point. I don't know what, but that's just my thoughts, and I know that is the whole point of this book, but I don't know, it wasn't very like interesting to me. And my other point was that from this whole story, Mike first approaches Aurora, right, with a proposition to send her daughter home and then eventually also move in with him. And when I read that part, right, I was like, if this were a thriller, that would have been like when alarm bells start ringing, but no, because this is a romance, then it's like, oh, okay, interesting, like, oh yes, I'll do it, that kind of thing. That's just a random thought that I had that I just wanted to share. The next book that I'm going to be reading will be The Catch by Emilia, so I'll come back to update once I finish reading. 45 more minutes for the 7-hour timer, then we can spin again and hopefully not get so long hours, because I can't do this tomorrow. I'm back without the mic because I cannot be bothered, but I just wanted to say that one thing about this readathon is that I get so tired from reading all the words that I just want to sleep. So yeah, that's the mood of today, I just want to sleep. My rating. So I rated the book 3.5 stars at the end because I still enjoyed the first half, just that the second half kind of had more issues coming up, so I decided to land on 3.5. I had more things I forgot to say about Canadian boyfriend. So they were both dealing with issues, right? Like Mike with the death of his wife, and Aurora with her failed ballerina career and all the repercussions that come with it, as well as all the problems she has had because of it, like her eating disorder, her panic attacks, things like that. And they both go through therapy, and it's really refreshing to see the therapists talk them through their issues and slowly help them to heal, which was really, really great to see. And again sheds light on how the ballerina industry is just not it. And also like the emotional abuse her mum put her through, which also led to her unhealthy obsession with eating healthy foods and things like that. And it's like the environment really plays a big role, and in terms of social support when in the industry as well. This is also how eating disorders can develop, like from comments that people around you make, which
affects how you view yourself and how you view the food around you, which is also I thought very important and good to read about in a book to bring more awareness to it. 7 hours, the last 20 minutes were just me scrolling through TikTok and I forgot to pause the timer, but I am still very much at the beginning of the catch at chapter 6, page 49, and we are back to spin for tomorrow. So let me manifest first. Okay, tomorrow I have a very busy day. I'm meeting my friends in the morning and we are gonna go hiking, and then in the afternoon I think I might have to help out with some stuff at home. So really I cannot do long hours tomorrow. Just please give me a small number, okay? Like spin the wheel, universe, God, whatever. If a high number comes out again, I'm gonna change the wheel, okay? Here we go, same as last time, 1 through 7. Okay, please, low number, please. Oh my god, please, fingers crossed. Oh my god. Oh, oh my god. Damn! Okay, I can do 2 hours. Oh my god, thank you universe, thank you spin the wheel, universe, God.
The next day.
2 hours done. Oh my god, I definitely look rough. It's because I am, okay, it's been a freaking tiring day. But I did 2 hours. And I would like to again manifest the right energy from the random wheel god, because tomorrow, technically today, because it's past midnight, I have a full day out, so I have no time to read. So I highly foresee that I will try my best to read when I have time, but any time that I won't finish, I'll push over to Monday to complete. But please let me get a relatively lower number on the wheel. Please, lower number. Oh my god, tree, please, tree, please. Okay, I can do 3.
Hi, I have no time, so I'm just gonna come on to say that it's been an hour into our 3 hours of day 4 and I finished the catch. I have so many thoughts to say about this, so I'm gonna save it for the next clip. But I just came on to show you that I went to the library yesterday and I got more books. So I got the reappearance of Rachel Price, a graphic novel called Lunar New Year Love Story, Tessa Bailey's Fangirl Down, as well as Alicia Thompson's The Art of Catching Feelings. 2 out of 4 books that I just showed you are not on my anticipated releases video, but they are 2024 releases. So slight tweak. I'm gonna go choose my book and then I'll update you in the next clip because I really have no time. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, hi. Today is day 6 of the challenge, and yesterday I mentioned that I didn't have time, so I'm coming back to review the catch today. I had so much to do yesterday that I didn't complete my timer. So I think I'm at like 2 hours and 20 minutes. So I'm gonna add 40 minutes to however many number of hours I spend today. And it's a little bit risky because it's already 1:30 p.m. and I have like job interview preparation to do. One is like a written assessment, one is also another form to fill out, something like that. So we shall see. But first, let's start with my review for the catch, okay? Trigger warnings first. Trigger warnings for sexual content, grief, abandonment, death of parent, mental illness, death, injury detail, medical content, and adult-minor relationship. I did not enjoy this book. Out of the 3 books in this series, right, this is my least favorite one. I'm gonna give it 1.75 stars. I think it's one of my lowest rated books this year. So let me explain more on why I didn't like it. Just look at all my comments. Can you see? It's like one page, this page, and then the next page or so. One thing that I really don't like is the female main character, okay? She is an influencer. I think she's a fashion influencer. She gets an offer from this resort, which is like very luxury, right? To come and stay at their hotel, like all expenses paid, everything, just to give them a review. And she has quite a bit of following, but she has recently witnessed a drop in her popularity, such that she's struggling a little to get by. She said that her bank account, it has 5 digits, okay, 5 digits, but it's on the low 5 digits end. And to me, I'm like, you're calling that not doing well, but okay. So she decides to take on this as like, oh, this is finally the opportunity where finally things will turn around and then I will get more following, get more opportunities like this afterwards. So she heads down to the resort only to realize that they messed up her schedule. Okay, so they told her to come down by this week, but then when she tried to check in, the receptionist was like, oh, actually we have you booked for the next week instead. Everything is fully booked over here, so can you just hold on for a bit until next week, then you come and stay at our resort. She would have to pay for her own flight back home, but according to some grant that the resort has, they would be able to fund her accommodations this week if she chose to stay. So she decided to stay, and then she found an Airbnb listing. Everything else was fully booked. Okay, only this Airbnb was available. So she submitted her request and she went down and she was like, excuse me, why is nobody open? Why is nobody here? Doesn't even look open. The place was a little bit run down. She was like, oh my god, where is the people? Am I gonna have to end up sleeping in my car? Things like that. And she made like an offhand comment about how needing to fight off like what bears in Canada or something because she's in Canada. And that's when she heard a growl, a very rough growl. And when she turned, the growl wasn't a wild creature, it was a man. Like, wow. Then she was very, very rude to him. She was like, I have a reservation here. Please check me in. And then he was like, no, there's no reservation. She was like, are you sure I made the reservation? Your computer looks freaking run down. Maybe that's why you didn't see my reservation. And then he went to check and he's like, you only requested it. We haven't accepted it. So technically it's on her. But then she was like, no, I have a reservation. You just need to accept it now. So eventually she gets settled into this inn, and that's where the story continues from there. So insufferable. She plays into the stuck-up influencer stereotype so well that I just cannot stand her. She's so rude, and then the writing is like not the best. There was a line where she's like, I regularly get lost in my own parking garage. Girl, please, it's a parking garage. And that's not all, okay? There are so many more instances of when she's rude. I'm gonna spoil everything because I don't recommend this. But if you want to read this, just skip ahead. So after she gets settled in, right, she decides to make use of her week there in, I think it's called Cora's Cove, exploring the area, getting to know the locals, and then still having content to post onto her page while she waits to get checked in next week. She wanted to go whale watching one day, and the whale watching guide turned out to be the guy, the animal growler guy called Evan. His family owns the inn, so he's helping to run it along with his sister Lucy. So he was the guide for the whale watching. He gave her a life jacket, and she was like, oh, orange is not my color. Must I have it on at all times? Can I take it off later to just take a few pictures, that kind of thing? And of course he's like, no, you're in open water, and she can't swim in open water. So like, why would you ask that, right? She's on a boat. Okay, she's on a boat. She's trying to get a picture of a lighthouse, like this lighthouse over here. Why is it so bright? Oh my god. This one. She was trying to take pictures by herself with her tripod, so she put the tripod on the boat, like the boat floor or something like that. And he was like, girl, that's not gonna stand there, it's gonna fall, okay? And she was like, I set it up on a cliff edge before, I think I'll be fine. So she ignored his warning and just continued to put it there and take photos. And it's a camera, okay, a very expensive camera. And then the boat suddenly rocked or something and it flew, it was gonna go off the edge. So she was like, oh my god, the camera is freaking expensive, I cannot lose it, right? So she lunges for it and she's about to fall into the ocean or sea or whatever, open water. And then Evan comes to her rescue. The camera can't be saved, but he rescues her and ends up falling into the ocean instead. And I think he hit his head, so he ended up having to go to the hospital. Whose fault is this? This freaking girl. I haven't told you her name. She's called Melanie. Okay, Melanie rushed him to the hospital, like called ambulance, everything, right? With the help of other locals who helped to rescue him from the water. And then she couldn't get in unless she's related, so she lied and said that she's the fiancé or whatever to get in and see how he's doing. When he regained consciousness, then she said, let's pretend it never happened. And he was like, pretend you didn't kill me? And she was like, you're alive. I would appreciate it if you stopped talking about death because my dad died a few years ago. Like, what? Okay. I'm so turned off by that, okay? Because, yes, your dad may have died a few years ago. Yes, you might be grieving, even though it's been years. You almost killed him. Why can't he... It's on her for almost killing him. Like, why are you guilt-tripping him now? Oh my god. Okay, I was so super fucking annoyed. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. And another thing is that the audiobook is freaking not good. Okay, so not good. I want to let you hear the recording.
There's a pamphlet if you need ideas for things to do around the village, she informs me, pointing to the stack of colorful brochures in a dusty plastic holder atop the dresser. There's another hand-carved lobster next to it, except this one is wearing a ballerina tutu. I turn it over to find the initials JW drawn in black Sharpie. My grandpa carved those lobsters, one for each room in the house, she explains, before continuing on about Horace Cove. Anyway, if you run into Ray Jackson at the waterfront, which you will because he loves movies, always have an out. The man likes to talk. He'll track you, and next thing you know, he'll have told you his whole life story, from his conception over at the old movie theater to his athlete's foot. When she sees the concerned look on my face, she adds, "Don't worry, I'll give you the full rundown tomorrow at breakfast. The week will fly by. You'll see." "Thanks, Lucy," I squeak, eager for serenity after a long day. She lingers, running a finger over the edge of the quilt. I get the feeling she wants to stay and chat. As much as I love girl talk, making conversation with a peppy stranger is the last thing I want to do right now. When I yawn and stretch my arms theatrically over my head, she gets the hint, stands, and wishes me a good night. Requiring my fan, bamboo sheets, purple gel flex grid cooling mattress, gel sleep mask, and mindfulness meditation audio to even think about getting a wink of sleep. Maybe it was all the stress of travel, but I slept solidly through the night for the first time in months, until being awakened by the unrelenting piercing screech of grinding metal. The sound is truly the auditory equivalent of falling from a balcony 20 stories up. I rub my eyes and squint through the harsh yellow beam of light streaming through a crack in the heavy drapery. On my way to investigate the source of the commotion, my bare toe disturbs a mound of debris next to the bed, which appears to be a pile of dirt and brown pine needles.
Did you hear that? It's like the narrator always speaks with a certain intonation for every single sentence, and it's always very obvious when it's not dialogue. So that's when it's the most irritating. But yeah, so I stopped listening to the audiobook. This kind of reminds me of It Happened One Summer. I mean, the concept is the same, right? You know, like some kind of celebrity, local celebrity, influencer, whatever, goes down to a small fishing village and then likes the small town life, doesn't really like it at first until they get along with the main character. Then after that, oh, this village is like very nice, so different from the city life, and then they liked it. I didn't enjoy It Happened One Summer also, but this was worse. Afterwards, for the benefit of Evan's family, because the family has been at odds over whether or not to sell the inn. So there's one camp that is for selling, one camp that is like, no, this is our legacy, we need to let it remain. But they kind of came together when they were like, oh my god, Evan, you're engaged, this is your fiance. And so Melanie agrees to be the fake fiance to help the family kind of mend their rift, and in exchange Evan will be helping her with photos and things like that. But her tone to him is so bad. It's like, these won't work. Again, one more time, again. It's like, hello, can you at least have some respect and basic manners? The only two things that I didn't like about Evan was when he made her shout balls to get into the car as if he was freaking 10 years old. And the other thing was when he told Melanie that he liked her natural look without her eyelash extensions filter or whatever, but he got her eyelash extensions. This is a bit tricky because I know you can be about advocating for natural beauty, but also if it makes you feel more confident, then you should do whatever you want, and he wanted to do that for her. But I thought it would have been better if, I don't know, maybe instead of focusing on the beauty part, the plot could have gone like he gets her a new camera because the camera was expensive, right? And she learns that her beauty is natural. She doesn't really need all those eyelash extensions, maybe like a bit of mascara here and there. But yeah, that's just my minor opinion. There was also a very age inappropriate plot point in here wherein Melanie's city neighbor is an 11-year-old boy or something, and he's like obsessed with her, so he writes love poems to her. And it ends with him having another woman that he's interested in, and that is his science teacher. So the little boy doesn't change his ways, but in the end, I just didn't really like it. I was about DNF actually, but I wanted to push through because I wanted to let you know how bad this was. Which is like, I haven't felt that feeling before, so this is the first. They only know each other for 2 weeks, but somehow they make it work. Honestly, I don't know how that would work because I don't know what Evan sees in Melanie, in that she's a city girl very through and through. I don't know what he sees in her, but he claims that he liked her the moment he saw her because she was beautiful. I feel like if this happened in real life, the two would be so different that they would be like, that guy or that girl is not for me, you know? But to each their own. And okay, done with my very long review of this because I had so many things to say. Let's spin the wheel, okay? Very, very scared because I don't want to end up with very long hours again.
Please, please. Little hours, please, please, random wheel. Oh my god, no. No! Why?
Well, I'm very screwed. Oh my god, I've been watching like the other booktubers doing this, right? I don't think I've seen 7 hours come up 3 times in a week, okay? Oh my goodness. And I need to add 40 minutes, so it's 7 hours and 40 minutes. How am I gonna do my interview prep now? Let me quickly tell you like my thoughts so far, okay? On the next book that I'm reading. My next book is again based on the Goodreads ratings. So this one was like a 3.6 something, 6.8 maybe, and that's Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood. Ali Hazelwood specifically wrote a note at the start to say that this book is tonally a little different from the works that she's published in the past. Our main characters, Rue and Ellie, have dealt with and still deal with the fallout from issues such as grief, food insecurity, and child neglect. They're eager to make a connection, but are not sure how to go about it except through a physical relationship. So the result is less of a rom-com and more of an erotic romance. What this story is about, honestly, I don't know much also because I'm still at the start, but Rue is a scientist, I think. She's like a team leader in her company called Klein. Klein is run by her respected mentor and CEO who brought her into the company in the first place, called Florence. She's been with Florence for a very long time. And then our male main character is Ellie Kilgore. He is, I'm not very good with business terms, but he and his business partners, they run this company called Harkness, and Harkness deals with loan agreements or something like that. So basically Klein, right, they borrowed a loan at some point, and the company which they borrowed the money from decided to sell their loan to Harkness. So Harkness now has ownership of the loan, and they're coming in now to Klein to understand more about their investments, see whether everything is going smoothly, are there any points in which they have to interject. These two characters are in a little bit of a standoff at the moment because the day before Harkness came to Klein, Rue and Ellie met via an app, and it's kind of like it's more for casual sex relations, okay? So they were both very attracted to one another, but because of certain things that came up during their date, they ended up not having sex. There was a lot of tension from that meeting, and they were supposed to meet again, even though Rue on her profile she stated no repeats. But I think she was very attracted to Ellie, so she's like, I mean, rules are meant to be broken, but then turns out he's part of Harkness, she's part of Klein, and then there's the whole tension from there. But that's all I got from it so far, and I'm not feeling the same pull I get when I read Ali Hazelwood's works. So maybe because of the tone is different, but I will continue reading. I have 7 hours, I can definitely finish this. Might be today, might be tomorrow. I'll try as much as I can to finish by tomorrow, the challenge. But if not, I might pull over into Wednesday. But yeah, we'll see how. Hi, I just reached 7 hours and 40 minutes on my timer. Yesterday, I think I finished Not in Love quite late at night, so I didn't want to come on and give an update. And today, I just wanted to quickly finish up the 7 hours and 40 minutes so that I can spin again. Currently, it is the last day. It's 3:30 p.m. already, so it's gonna run over again. But we're gonna try. So let's give my thoughts on Not in Love first. Trigger warnings for sexual content, death of parents, eating disorder, child abuse, stalking, abandonment, pregnancy, car accident, and grief. Like Ali Hazelwood mentioned in her note, this is very tonally different from her other books in that the characters are not feeling like an emotional connection, but more so of like an erotic sexual tension between the both of them until the later half of the book. It's something that I wasn't super used to from her books, and I realized that I would prefer her normal rom-coms when you feel the emotional connections and things like that. But I continued to read it, and as the characters kind of got more emotionally connected to each other, they always share very honest and raw things about themselves to each other. It kind of got back to the feeling I get when I read Ali Hazelwood books, especially because the STEM part is involved, right? Then there's always a sinister part of her books. Like there's always a bad guy and like something bad happens towards the end of the books. And that's when I got the familiar feeling back, and I liked it a little bit more. When they reach the end, when they are going towards their happy ending, Ellie is just very, very cute and very clingy, and I love it so much. Like there's this thing that he told her at the end that is before the epilogue. I'm just gonna read it out to you, okay? So there's spoilers. If you don't want to listen to it, you can skip ahead. I'm going to be open with you because I wasn't always, and that was a mistake. It means that I'm not going into this thinking that there will be an ending. Do you get my meaning? And I'm going to want to see you every day. I'm going to learn more dishes and pack your lunch and write cute little notes on it. I'm going to ask you if you want to sleep at your place or mine and always assume that we're spending the night together. I'm going to think about you all the damn time. I'm going to assume I'm watering your plants when you're out of town. I'm going to hold your hand in public. I'm going to kiss you in public. I'm going to organize surprise parties for you with your friend. I'm going to send 100 texts per day with stupid online shit I think you should see. Clingy as fuck, bro. Can you do it? Can you live with me as your boyfriend? Freaking cute! Like, there was a moment where I was reading in that time lapse that I was like, oh my god, I want a clingy boyfriend too, and that was the part, okay? That was the part. Not forgetting the emotions I felt at the start, and then the emotions I felt. I decided to land on 3.5 stars. So not a bad rating, but not a super good one also. So take with it what you will. With the rest of the hours, I'm almost done with Fangirl Down. Currently, I don't think I even shared that I started reading this, but I did because at first I wanted to read The Art of Catching Feelings, but the audiobook wasn't available for loan yet, so I decided to read this instead, and it's one of my anticipated releases. This one is another sports romance, and it's about golf. So it's about Wells Whittaker, who was once a golf hot rising star, but he has hit a slump, I would say. He started to disregard his career, or he started to hit a slump, so he was always getting into fights, not doing well for competitions, things like that. But his one remaining supporter was always there, and that was the female main character, Josephine Doyle, who always believed in him even when he didn't believe in himself. Yet, there was once he really didn't want to continue anymore, so he tried to convince her to go home, and when she refused, he broke a signboard, and that was when she decided to stop being a fan of him, of which he immediately regretted. And then he was like, okay, I'm gonna fix things. He went to find her at her shop, which was inherited from her parents. It's also a supply shop for all the golfing equipment. He found her when the shop had been wrecked by a flash flood, and after finding out more about her situation, about how she took the insurance money that was supposed to pay for her health insurance because she has type 1 diabetes to pay for rent for the shop, and then now there's no insurance for the shop in the flash flood also. So he offers her a job to be his caddy, and in return she will get paid, and then she can get the shop built back together. And from there, their feelings kind of kindle and come alive, and there's a lot. This book is so steamy, okay? Very, very steamy. I didn't feel anything when I was reading this, despite this being an erotic romance by Ali Hazelwood. But this, goodness, okay? I don't know whether it's because I'm getting a bit numb after reading so many romances, but what I liked about this was that he was the one that was very, very openly obsessed with her and very smitten with her. He's the one that's putting in more effort, very obviously whipped for the female, and I always love to see that in books. So that was what made it for me, and I'm enjoying this quite a bit. I would say that there were certain golf parts in this that I wanted to know more of, but it feels like we only got a bit, and then we're reaching the end of the story already. So I'll come back and update once I finish this story, and then for now, let us spin our last spin. I don't know where this will take us, how many hours, but please don't be 7 again. Please be a lower number, please.
Okay, let's go last time. Oh my god, stop. Yes! Holy shit! I'm finally lucky, oh my god!
We have finally reached the end of the challenge, and I did complete my 1 hour. I think I exceeded until like 1 hour 30 minutes because I was finishing up the last book that I was reading. Within 30 minutes, I finished Fangirl, the last part that I was at, and my thoughts largely remained the same as my previous clip in that it's quite cute, the story, a lot steamier than expected. Love that the guy is so whipped for her, it's like crazy. Basically, at the end, they had to be separated because she had to go back to manage the shop while he played for the Masters. He had her caddy uniform in his back pocket while he was playing the whole game, so it was being live streamed every time, and so everybody knew that he had a thing for her lah. And it was freaking cute, and at the end she was there for him when he won. He ran over to her, knelt down and cried into her stomach, and I was like, such a whipped guy. Oh my goodness, freaking cute. Although he's not the kind of main character that I would normally like he's kind of demanding, demands things, not the sweetest guy. He's more like a gruff actions kind of guy, and his words can be a little bit, I don't know how to pronounce his word, brusque, but his actions more than make up for it. And he's very, very obviously whipped for her and is not afraid to show it, and I'm like, that's very admirable in a guy. She supported him with that torn up signboard that she taped back. It's freaking cute. And at the epilogue, it was after a few years passed, and I was like, that's kind of cute. Oh, one thing though about this book was that at one point in the steamy scene, it was a little bit uncomfortable because it was something that I haven't read yet. But yeah, that's my minor gripe for this. Landed on 4 stars. Yeah, because I wasn't swooning, but it's still good. So yeah, still a good recommended read, I would say. And in the last 30 minutes, I can't read another full-length book, right? So I decided to go with the graphic novel that I borrowed, which was Lunar New Year Love Story. Very thick actually, it's like 350 something pages. This one is about our main character, who's called Valentina, named after Valentine's Day because that's when her parents met. She is now in a single parent family growing up with her dad, so she really liked the Valentine's Day tradition, so she always made Valentine's Day cards for her class and gave them out. Then she realized that while she thought her mom was dead, actually her dad lied to her. Mom left them for another man, so she starts to think that love is like nothing, love doesn't exist, things like that. And that's when her imaginary friend that she used to have, who helped her to create all the Valentine's Day cards and things like that, turned into a spirit of Saint Valentine, Saint V for short. They made a deal in which she has 1 year to find love. If not, she would have to give her heart to him, to become a nun in a sense, so that she would experience peace, because once you become a nun, you can't have romantic relationships and her heart won't be broken. And so in that 1 year, she experiences a few things, like joining a lion dance club, interacting with the characters from there, and the story progresses from there, and it's very, very cute. I love the art style. The plot was also really fleshed out and interesting. I really liked one particular drawing of the lion dance. Let me find it. I really like this illustration. It's so pretty and detailed, like look at it. Yeah. The details are very amazing, like really, really so good. Let me show you. Like you see, you have like, it's very realistic, right? I love it. The illustration is amazing. And the plot is also good. So that's why there's multiple authors for this. I would assume one is doing the writing and one is the illustrator. I'm very grateful to our public library actually for bringing in all these very wonderful graphic novels so that I can read them physically without buying them because they're freaking expensive. Landed on 4.25 stars because it's a very cute story, and I think it will be very good for those that don't really like reading but want to start getting into the habit of reading. Like graphic novels are great, and this one has like adequate amount of words and illustrations at the same time. And with that, we have come to the end of this video. Don't know how long it will be because I haven't been keeping track, but yeah. If you made it till the end, please give me is there a wheel emoji? This challenge has been crazy. I got 7 hours 3 times of 7 days. But yeah, I made it. Even if I failed on Sunday, I managed to cover it back the next day, so it was fine. I recommend this challenge if you need to catch up with your Goodreads score, because with this, I am now 2 books ahead, or 3 books ahead. I'm gonna take a break from reading for like at least a day because my eyes are so tired from reading. Will I do this challenge again? Maybe, if I still have time next time. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Consider subscribing to my channel to see more of such content. Remember to stay hydrated. I hope you're having a great day or a great week whenever or wherever you're watching, and I'll see you in my next video.